the session is about customer experience, and we're all retailers here, and this is something very close to all of our hearts. If customer experience were to be taken out of the retail experience, then we're all just selling products, right? How many of us actually think of customer experience as a crucial part of the consumer journey? There's a manufacturer, there's a wholesaler, there's a distributor, there's a wholesaler, and then there's a retailer. The retailer usually commands the chunk of the margin. But what do we do to ensure that we keep our margins intact? And what do we do to keep bringing our customers back? So, customer experience is usually a very broad word. All of us say, yes, we give great customer service. But do we actually quantify customer service at our back end? Do we actually think about how I'm going to break down customer service? What is customer service? What is experience? What is customer experience? How many of us actually think of change of the lights being changed in our stores as a part of the customer experience, right? So, here. Retail in India, of course, organized retail, modern retail is just growing. But today morning we had stalwarts like Mr. Nalli from, Mr. Kupsam Chetty from Nalli. So these guys have had they've had all the time in the world to settle upon their winning formulas, right? But a lot of us today here don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury of time and experience. So what are we doing? Where are we? How are we deciding on what are the key elements we're going to hold on to ensure that my brand, my business, my store, my chain store, my manufacturing business has an edge over the consumer, has an edge over the competition, okay? Because otherwise, it's only price, okay? How are we going to gain access to premium? Now, in retail, access to premium is the most important thing. How do I have, what kind of pricing power do we have? X service costs, a service cost say 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, 500 rupees. How many times can we multiply it? What kind of margins can we keep? And how can we increase our profitability? And customer experience is a huge part in that, you know. So we're going to dwell on that. We've got a very good panel. We've got a sportswear retailer. We've got a manufacturer of kitchen equipment. Okay, we've got salons and what, beauty, or what do you call it? Salons. We've got gifting, and we've got mobile phones.
Thank you.
Right. So it's a very different panel. I'll start with the first question we have here. So we talk about customer experience. What is the next level in customer experience? Who will answer?
Honestly speaking, that's a nice question. Initially I thought we could be a retailer or a seller. Now I am being a teacher also. So the experience here is we are teaching the customers what sports to get into, what games to get into, and how to use the products. So most of our time is now spending on educating the customer. Then comes selling.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, there is a rock band which was playing in UK in 2010, and there were around 30,000 people in the auditorium, and the people were jumping and screaming and shouting and cheering. Fast forward 4 years, in 2014, the same rock band was playing, and there were 30,000 people in the auditorium, but this time something has changed. People were not jumping and cheering and screaming and shouting. They were all taking pictures. The customers have changed. Have the service providers changed? That is the million-dollar question in front of us. Today we no longer see the God picture before sleeping and in the first thing in the morning. Even during midnight also, when we go to the restroom, we see what is the WhatsApp message. We are in that kind of age. And that is the kind of changes which is all happening. And around that, the customer is changing much more faster than the service providers, what we can change, and the product providers. And there lies the answer between us.
Well, Sangeeta has traveled all the way, right from music to cell phones, that is gramophones to cell phones. So we have seen the change. We have seen the way, probably, I don't know if I'm I'm 51. I don't know if I'm the oldest on this panel. And I started standing behind the counter and selling to the customer at the age of 17. And before 17, I was passively selling.
But 17, there are no mobile phones.
There were no mobile phones, that's what I said. We have been seeing the customer's behavior right from gramophones to cell phones.
Correct.
So I have seen, as Kumar was mentioning, how the changes in our mannerisms. We don't no longer pray to God before going to bed, but we see the WhatsApp before going to bed. Exactly like that, we have seen the customer's needs change. We have seen the customer's behavior change. We have ourselves changed to adapt to the customer's needs. For example, when mobile was new, it was all sold without bill. So we had to make them, educate them to buy with the bill, even though it was costly. To do so, we had to convince them and therefore introduced insurance. We had to introduce EMI, but today EMI and insurance are abused, used by everybody. So today we had to once again reinvent. In the process of reinvention, we came up with a thing called price protection. So any phone bought in Sangeeta, if there is a price drop, and in mobile phones, every time there is a price drop. Every other day there is a price drop. So if there is a price drop in the next 30 days, we actually call the customer. That I did not tell you. There's a team of people in Sangeeta. 3 times we reach the customer. Through a message, through a mail, through a phone call. And now there is a target given to the store manager who sold it. Every time there is a price drop, the list of customers that he has actually sold to in the last of that particular model, where there's a price drop, is mailed to him, so that he interacts with the customer, because he was the guy who sold it to the customer. So this is something which we have done.
As most of you know, this gifting business was totally an unorganized sector and it was available everywhere. But in our case, what we did at Kesar is, when they come into our store, we have few questions to ask them, like what is your budget point, of course we have. And then we ask for what category you want to give and whom to give. Even if their budget is 250, we ask them whether it has to be given to a higher category like a CEO or you to your employees or anything. Accordingly, we understand them and then we suggest them that gift. So that experience has made them come back to us. And that has been a good experience for us, and it makes them make a good choice and what they want rather than buying whatever it is and just run away.
So what you're saying is that when a customer walks into your store, you're advising him and you're ensuring that there is a relevance in what he buys.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
As far as your stores, you're saying is that you're ensuring that you are protecting the consumer's rights by ensuring that if there is a drop in price, you're contacting the customer.
Slightly differ with you. It's not protecting the customer rights. It's not a customer right to claim price drop.
Okay.
See, once you have bought any product for that matter, even a car, if there's a price drop, you're not going to go back and claim. Neither is the automobile dealer who sold the car to you going to call you and refund you the difference. This is a first of its kind in the world that we have introduced. In fact, I just went down to get this. This is the list of customers, and this is as of May. This entire book is my customers who have been protected against price drops.
So
Today we have crossed 3 crore rupees in the last 10 months. This project itself, the scheme itself, this innovation, this price drop protection itself is 10 months old. And in these last 10 months, this book was released in May. So June, July, August, September, 4 months.
So how many consumers have you protected through this? How many? If you're saying not protected, how many consumers have you?
Around 29,000 something. In terms of rupees, it is about 3 crore 10 lakhs. In fact, in the newspaper advertisements also, we mentioned the figure.
So if you're
It's
saying
a
that this is
ledger
not a
item in my
consumer right,
P&L.
then why are you doing this?
Sorry?
If you're saying it's not a consumer right,
It's not a consumer right at all.
Why are
It
you
is
doing
it's a loyalty building factor. In my view, the way I look at it is, this is the best loyalty building.
you're building
that I can-
experience.
Experience. And it's an wow factor. In fact, the customer is shocked. Customer can't believe it. Customer takes it as a gimmick while buying when our boys talk about it. But he still ends up buying because he wants to buy it. He doesn't really believe it. But once he has bought it, and not every customer who has bought a phone gets this less than 30-day price drop, right? Only if there is a price drop, he gets a message. But in that process, in the last 10 months, there are about 30,000 customers who have got this benefit. And 30,000 numbers in 10 months is not a small number.
30,000 customers who have got the benefit, or 30,000 customers who walked into your store?
No. 30,000 customers have got a price drop benefit.
And do all the people
Ah.
you contact come back for the price drop benefit?
In
Do
fact,
you have a conversion percentage?
we do have it. In fact, to begin with, it was very, very low.
There you go.
So therefore, because we used to communicate to them through an SMS, because we generate a unique code. It's a 4-digit code. And you can walk into any of the 300 stores of Sangeeta, just read out the code and they will identify you by your name and the amount that needs to be given
So
to
that's
you.
exactly the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
What I'm saying here is that, look, I'm in the market for a phone today. I'm going to buy a phone. When I'm in the market for a phone today, price is relevant to me. Correct? But I think price is relevant.
Absolutely.
Because if you're saying the conversion is low, that means
It used to be low, it is almost 90% now.
now it's low. So then it is a
Because now
huge
we are
part of your
chasing the
experience.
customer. Earlier, there used to be an SMS and an email. Probably most of the
So
customers,
that this
we don't
cus-
even have the mail ID.
So when this customer comes back,
Huh.
is he are you upselling to him?
He is enabled to redeem. There are no conditions. If there's a 1,000 rupee price drop, he can just walk out taking a 1,000 rupee item. It could be an accessory, it could be a phone, it could be anything. No conditions.
So, see, we're talking about online, offline, omni-channel. We're largely a smattering of offline retailers here, correct? And for offline retailers, we're probably selling the same merchandise as an online retailer, right? In some cases, we're selling far lesser in terms of variety. So the key here, would you say, is the people you have in your store? The people who are interacting with your customers? And how important is it for you to pay attention to humanizing the experience? For example, right, we were talking, you're probably competing with an add to cart button,
Buy button.
right? A buy button, right?
Yeah.
Your competition, in my opinion, is a buy button.
Yes.
Your competition, yours, not so much yours because I can't get a haircut on the phone, okay? But yours as well, right? So, the difference being here is that the human element, right? What are you doing to improve that experience and to humanize the entire, see, the experience is humanized, no doubt, in your stores. My question is there a deliberate attempt to take advantage of the human experience?
See, in our example, see, we very well understood that, humanizing is the factor which is going to influence the business, not only our business, many of the other business. Anybody in sports retail here?
Sports retail,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. See, actually in sports, goods once sold are not taken back because of the wear and tear aspect. Buy a football, you play, and then, you cannot Even if it is after 1 hour or 2 hours, we will not take it back. But understanding the humanizing effort here, we have formed a special cell to see that we convince our supplier to take care of this particular case, whichever case has come, and we request him to do something here. Their board is always there. Goods once sold will not be taken back. That we educate to the customer. But at the same time, we tell the customer that we are going to take an effort with the supplier to see that whether the supplier will help us on this issue. So here the customer is appreciating our effort that we have taken an effort. Right. In 60% of the cases, the supplier has come to help us and we have given something to the customer back. So that is one unique experience which we have seen.
If I can add to it, see, a mobile phone is a technology product. No doubt today's customer, in quite a few occasions, is more smarter, intelligent, and knows about the product more than the fellow behind the counter. But having said that, so, there are still any number of customers who are not very tech savvy. For example, every day there is a new innovation happening. Samsung has come out with a model where they say bike mode or whatever. So, for example, if you were to be buying that phone and if you are driving on a two-wheeler and I call you, it says the person you are calling is actually driving a two-wheeler. Would you like to, if it's an emergency, press 1. So this is something, he anyway wanted to buy a phone and he has a desperate need for the phone. But unless you educate that, 90% of the customers, they might have seen the TV commercial on the television set, but then he would still not be aware of it. So this is just a small example. And everything today in the world is done on an app. And there are many important day-to-day needs that are being served by apps. So we help, our store staff help in downloading those apps and giving it to him. There's certainly there is a human element.
Expand a little bit on what you're saying, what you're not saying as well. If you look at the world's the world's most successful retailer in terms of per square foot sales, today it's Apple. And what is the success of the Apple Store? Of course, the Apple Store facade is beautiful and all that. But the genius bar that Apple has in all their stores, okay, absolutely, that is what I'm saying in terms of humanizing the consumer experience, right? The staff in an Apple store is clearly a level above. Now, yes, Apple has access to premium. They can pay higher, they can pay, higher salaries. They can get better staff. But I'm saying that today, Apple is not worried about online sales for their Apple products. Every Apple store is hugely profitable. In fact, there are some stores that do, if I'm not mistaken, 100 crore sales in one store.
Yes, there is. Right? There are stores.
So I'm saying
not in India though.
Yeah, right. But Apple, of course, Apple hasn't opened in India. But I'm saying humanizing the consumer experience has tremendous potential. And for retailers like us, investing on that is a surefire way in increasing our ticket size, increasing our loyalty, and so on and so forth, right? Like he was saying to us, Razak Bhai was saying to us about an experience he had in Germany. Why don't you expand on that?
Actually, I want to share with my whole family also one of my experience in Germany. There is one of Nike showroom. So we are planning to buy some shoes, go enter the Nike showroom. So some models we took one. Immediately salesman come to stop to that. Sir, please wait. Please don't choose your shoes. Before you choose the shoes, we want to know what you want wear. And a lot of the brand, a lot of the size, a lot of the parameters of the manufacturing. So some feet have not matching for in the healthy. So before you purchase the shoes, we want scanning your leg. So they are putting to the one scanner and we are standing upon the scanner. They are scanning in 2 minutes. They are giving us a report. The Nike have a lot of models. they are suggesting the neutral model is suitable for us. And same like my wife and child and everything, they are in this different model. They are.
How many shoes did you land up buying that day?
The four shoes.
You bought for all of you. There you go.
Yes. So what is my saying that? So the customers impressing for the certain level of the service. So we enjoy that. If before buying that, so customers we are enjoying that how their services how to that. So not bother about the money, not bother about any other thing. So the system and software choose to for us on good.
So that's a marriage between technology and services.
Technology and
Essentially,
services.
that you empowered the staff at the front end to use technology that will make the product in the store more relevant to the consumer.
Talking about technology, can I add something? Just yesterday I was talking to a company, in fact we just gave the mandate to install. See, today the biggest challenge is how do you track walk-ins? Whenever the business is dull, you call the store manager and you fire him, or you call the sales head and you ask him, why is the business dull? Immediately the easiest answer is, sir, no walk-ins. Now how do you track the walk-ins? The age-old fashion of, the manual thing, which is generally not very accurate.
Clickers.
Yeah. And the clickers will not tell you whether it's, if the customers walk in a group. And the clickers will only tell you the number of walk-ins.
Number of feet.
Yeah, number of feet, yeah. But it will not tell you if there is a employee who has walked out and walked in also. How do you differentiate? So we have just given a mandate to a technology company to install it in our stores, where he is able to differentiate the staff and tell me precisely the walk-ins. And he is also able to tell me if you are walking in as a family, he is able to give me that differentiation. Not just that, he is also able to tell me how many customers spent 5 minutes or lesser, how many out of those walk-ins spent more than 20 minutes. So, and which customers spent how long at which portion of your store. So technology is really unbelievable.
And for you, there's no technology. For you, it's like I said. So
Yeah, I agree that
your experience is completely humanized, of course. But how do you use your staff, as a tool to be better than the next salon?
Yeah, as you said, the online haircut is still a fantasy. It will take some time to come. But I don't dismiss. It can happen. So it's not something which is
You can do it. You can launch it before anybody.
And that is when our what we are looking at is how can we make this business people agnostic and product agnostic. If we can make that, I think that is where this business has to grow. Otherwise,
Price is not as important as variety to fit all price needs. Would that be right?
Exactly. Price doesn't make much difference because we have different price points, but certainly they come with a clear budget. So in my case, it's the budget that matters because they come with a very preconceived budget, what to spend.
He's at value, you're at variety, you're at loss leaders. So you're saying you'll have a loss leader and then you'll have value-added services. You're saying price doesn't matter at all. Right? And you're saying David was Goliath. You're quoting scripture. Okay. So, how important is it for you to be consistent? First of all, how many of you, or out of 5 of you, how many of you have online and offline? Do you have online, offline? You have online, offline? You have online, offline as well. The two for you, of course, you don't have, and you don't have online. So, how consistent is your customer experience across your online and offline channels? When I say consistent, I mean consistent in terms of price, in terms of service, in terms of all expectations. How consistent is it?
Yeah, to begin with, we made a differentiated offering. It was not consistent. That is, if he came up to the store and bought, he would get all these value-added services, whatever were running at that point in time. But if he bought online, he would get a 47-minute delivery. We would compete and we would be the best. We would give him Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, anywhere we could. But then, see, we have never been able to take them. They are giants. the online today, they've got deep pockets. And online customer behavior is also different. They understand the customer. Still, we are lagging behind. We have not used, all of us sitting here in this room, I am sure, or most of us, it's a different animal. We are still learning. We are still learning, and we have a long way to go. I'm not ashamed to admit that.
But how consistent is your service?
Today, as far as value-added services are concerned, as far as pricing is concerned, it's very much consistent. But if you ask me, what numbers are you doing online? It's very insignificant.
No, actually, that's not the point. The point here is that can a
It's
customer
quite
expect
consistent.
the same things?
Absolutely.
So,
But
for
same
example,
meaning, he cannot have a data transfer unless he walks into the store. He cannot trade in his old phone unless he walks into the store. There are always things which...
but that's the medium. You can't do much about that.
Yeah.
But in terms of pricing, in terms of service, return,
For example...
quality, say for example, a customer bought something on your online store and he tweeted you, and then a customer came to your store and complained in person. My question is, are you handling him
Is the
same
entire
manner?
journey
No, are you
completely
handling
being
him in the
handled?
same manner?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He could tweet us, he could write on the Facebook, he
See,
could
because
write on my blog, he
Yeah,
could
because-
complain on my blog, he could...
Because even in the morning we were talking about retail is going to meet in the middle. The
Yes,
gentleman from
absolutely.
Payments was saying,
Absolutely.
retail is going to meet in the middle. Retail is going to meet somewhere between online and offline. See, today we use words like online and offline, but the truth is they are only delivery mediums,
Absolutely.
right? It's only the customer experience. So are we able to ensure that the experience is the same, given the fact that the medium has some issues, like you cannot data transfer.
I can't do a Bajaj Finance EMI, for example. And
Online.
Online.
But you can do it offline.
I can do it offline.
Okay.
And recently we tied up with another entity called Phenomena, where I don't need any documentation.
But Bajaj Finance
With
is
Aadhaar
available
number, I
on
can do a...
Flipkart, no?
No, that is only for Bajaj EMI card holders. There are only...
So do you give something equivalent to that Bajaj Finance? Do you give an EMI online?
No. See, let's get it right. Bajaj offers EMI to all and sundry, and people who have already bought through Bajaj Finance get the privilege of a Bajaj EMI card if he has not defaulted. So, today Bajaj Finance is available through the online channel only for existing Bajaj EMI card holders and not for fresh customers. If you are a fresh customer, fresh Bajaj Finance customer, you can walk into Sangeeta and buy, but not on the online.
Okay. What about you?
And similarly, apart from Bajaj, there are others like Home Credit. There is a Phenomena Finance where I don't need any documents. You just have your Aadhaar number and your thumb impression. I have your entire history, credit history. I can give you on the spot.
In our case, I'll just take 20 seconds more just to tell you something, because my 70 to 75% of my turnover is on personalized gifts, whether it's trophies, awards, or a corporate gift, number one. And number two, my average delivery starts from the next day to 15 days. So average delivery is 3 to 5 days, my whole volume. I'm just telling them to understand the reason for them to,
Context, okay.
into that. And another thing is, gifting is the last thing in anybody's list in the agenda or anything. They may book the hotel or they may book the caterer or everything. Gifting is something they will see that they'll do it at the last minute. So every order of ours comes at the last minute. And another thing to add is being as a personalized gifts. So it's just like an invitation card. So even if it reaches 1 hour late, my products are of a waste. Like for example, Rai mementos which we made, my person was working till 11 o'clock yesterday night and today morning he delivered. Same thing, some pieces was delivered to Chennai Trade Center for the jewelry exhibition today. They all come at the last minute, and if I say no, as I told you, my 50% business is over. So we come into. So now what happens here is online and offline. So the products, even if they see all my products, like we have now started our business also, we have put up around some 3,000-4,000 products have already been put up on the online, but we are gradually in a month's time we'll be touching 10,000, where people can select the products online in the category, the budget, or for the occasion. They can click anything, they can just, after that also they will not buy, because it's a bulk buying, 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000 pieces. So they would like to see it again. So they may come to the store, or they will ask a person to come there. So in our case, the online selling is indirectly, if you say, it's like an offline selling. But we do get lot of inquiries every day through online and it gets converted. But they would certainly like to ask us the question when we can deliver, otherwise it's a no use. Otherwise normally in the online they buy one piece for their own use, if they don't like, they return it back. In our case they can't return it back because it's personalized.
What about you? Does an online exist for you, Mr. Kumaravel?
Yeah, we have two sets of challenges when it comes to the consistency as a factor. One is consistency across all their outlets. That is, we have 550 outlets, and how is the service delivered across the 500? Second is we have a online, not online, we have a at-home, naturals at-home salon model, where we go home and service the customer. There the customer expectations is completely different because we cannot do the real setup of a salon at home. So his expectations itself has been lowered, and she is willing to compromise on the, because we can't have a facial bed, we can't have a big steamer and things like that. So that's a different set of challenge. But most important challenge is how are we delivering consistency across this 550. We have a long way to go. At this point of time, I can say if you are on a scale of 1 to 10, if you are at 5.5, it's a big thing, and that's something which we need to improve and work on it.
So what are your immediate points that you want to improve on?
No, that is the ability to deliver across how they communicate. We have standardized uniform, we have standardized name boards, we have standardized the price card. Whereas when you go and ask for a haircut, are we able to deliver the same haircut at least closer across all the salons? Are we able to deliver the same kind of hair color? And those are bridal makeup. These are very, very individualistic, at the same time very challenging ones. How close are we able to deliver that? Are we the same kind of makeup is all my 550 salons able to deliver? That's a big ask.
But does it exist as a model itself where people can expect consistency across salons anywhere in the world? Is that an expectation a consumer can expect?
That is, as a chain salon, that is one of the big expectations. And today customer is very demanding. Earlier, 3 years before, the customer were different. Today the customer is completely different. He or she expects consistency. And that's something which we are working on. We are trying to now catch up with the customer. Customer expectations have gone up, and we as a service provider are trying to catch up with them, and that's the phase at which we are in.
Mr. Razak, so you're a B2C, you're a manufacturer.
Yes.
Now, you don't have retail outlets of your own?
No, we don't.
Correct?
Actually, we
So
are
you're
not dealing
working-
any customers directly.
Sorry?
We are not dealing any customers directly.
Correct. You're under. But my question is that a customer bought, you said 60 countries. So
Yes.
a customer bought something in Trivandrum,
Okay.
okay? And then a customer bought something in Tirunelveli. My
Okay.
question is that if, for example, it's a product return, do you have a system in place where a consumer can reach out to you through a website or a call center?
Yes, actually, we are not dealing any customers directly, but we have take care for the customers after sales through the retailer. How to that? In our own website, anyone purchase our product, they go to direct register to our product and model number and serial number in the customer, which shops they have purchased in the data, and valid email and mobile number, they are registered to that. Because in our some product have the lifetime warranty product. We will take care for the whole life. So any defect and any complaints coming to that, they are entering to the phone number and website and searching to the name. They can show all of the mode of purchase they are purchasing, when they are purchasing, what is the conditions of that, everything. Then any defect, he can two options. He can go to the near the retailer or send it to in our factory and our head office. So we can replace someone repair it. We send it to our cost, return to them. Because this case, there is some judgment. So that judgment, your cost you send it to us. The judgment is this is okay. We can replace in our cost and send it to them, to that money also the cost of money. The better go to the retailers. We have given the authority for that, the retailers, the judges, they judge the product, they can return to immediately.
So you're saying that you're backing your product up.
Yes,
You're-
because
you're
all
standing-
product, we have all product have the manufacturing date. Even you lose the ticket, the invoice, you lose anything, the product already, not the punching, molding the date. The molding, each product we are putting the mold. They cannot go to the errors, everything. You can cut it that, the product.
Very
So-
interesting. I think I've run out of time, but it was an interesting session. Anybody here? Any questions? Anybody from the panel? You got a mic. You got a mic.
With respect, all of you talked about experiences, but I just had a question in my mind that, this was about taking the customer experience to the next level. It was not about offline and online. So, one second. Mr. Subhash, you said that you were giving a lot of extras, which was not given online. But we were not on a comparison that it was offline or online. As an experience, if I just came to the store and if there was not online, what is the experience you are going to give me extra?
No, see, first and foremost, Sangeeta is an established brand. There is a trust. Even before you walk into the store, there's a 4 decades of trust
No, I've already
behind the
come
brand
in.
Sangeeta.
No, I've already come in with the
You have
trust that
come
is
into the
Sangeeta.
store. You have
Then
come
what
into
is
the
the
store.
experience you're going to give me
Yeah,
extra?
yeah. One, there is a range of, there's a wide range. There are live demos. Then there are product specialists. Each brand-wise, we have a specialist in the store. There's a Samsung expert, there is an Apple expert, there is an Oppo expert, etc., etc. Then we have the value-added services. Then we have the buyback, which, from time to time we come out with, see, for example, it's not about online, offline, as you rightly said. It's about offline, offline also. It's about Sangeeta with any other store. What is it? Why should customer walk into Sangeeta, or how does Sangeeta differentiate? See, if you want to trade in your old phone, we have a tie-up, we have an app where the app does the entire diagnostics of your phone. It will check the Wi-Fi, it will check the battery, it will check the camera, it will check everything of the phone by itself. The app does the diagnostics and it will throw out the price. So there is no human intervention at all, except that whether there is a charger with it, whether there is a scratch on the phone, that's all the human has to enter.
Okay.
So,
Suresh ji, sorry if I'm not... if
Subhash.
I finished, yes. No, if you finished, I could just ask Mr. Suresh.
Okay.
Mr. Suresh, you talked about the price. Leaving the price aside, what is the added experience I get if I come to your store? Or how do you take the customer experience to the next level? Leaving price aside and leaving online aside.
You have asked a really good question. Actually, you know that gifting, as I mentioned some time back, it's a totally unorganized sector which we try to make it to organize. Now coming to this thing, what is the difference you will get in our store? If you're walking in, we will not allow you we will not let you this thing, you can walk in and you just select everything. We just ask you a few questions for you to make a better choice. Like we ask you for whom are you gifting? And what is your budget point? And which is the category of people you are gifting? Like for example, I'm not selling toys in my store, but if they want to see that I'm going for a birthday party and I want to give something at divine items, I would rather suggest him go for a baby Krishna or like that. So that is some sort of a thing which we do. And another thing is the gifting and the event. Most of the thing, it has to be relevant to the gifting. Even the product, because we have a lot of personalized items, something customized item. So it more or less, the gifts which we sell is mostly relevant to that. So we do not sell, in a short, we do not sell gifts which can be re-gifted.
Okay. Mr. Kumaravel,
I'm so sorry, we're running short of time.
I just need to take this because this is part of the experience, taking it to the next experience. So just a minute.
Take the question offline, no? They're not
Yeah, they're all available.
No, I
You
would
can
like
always talk to them.
Just one question. Mr. Kumaravel, with what you said that you're wanting to give me a same haircut across all of them and not asking for the specific person, actually I feel it's like taking off my experience than taking it, because with my hairdresser, I share my life history. So taking that
That's
off...
exactly what we want to. Once the hairdresser moves out of my salon, the customer also follows. I think that is what we want to avoid. And that is what I call it as make it people agnostic. And we don't want this business to be hairdresser driven. This has to be brand driven.
promising you that when you go to a salon, that you can share your family secrets. They're promising you.
No. It's like taking my experience to the next level. My experience with the natural is it's already a good haircut. I am wanting to share it with the same person because, sometimes you share it only with your hairdresser. So if you're taking it away from me, you're taking off my
No, I
experience.
agree with you. It has been happening.
You're lowering my experience, then adding value
It is
to
not lowering, it may be lowering for one person. The idea is, how can I make it uniform and better for a larger community?
I'm really, really sorry. I'm going to have to cut that short right here.
If that is the objective, sir, what we hear that we want to achieve with the next level of having good experience at every outlet, are you training them in a manner that they can deliver the same experience, or is it at the store level or at the
No, there is a back-end training academy. We have created India's largest training academy. And that is where we are putting that back-end systems and process. It is not trained on the front end, it is trained on the back-end. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful audience and
Thank
we really
you.
enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you. That was